All right, let's talk about putting big, beautiful graphics on walls. For years, really for decades, if you wanted to do this, your options were, well, they were fine, but they came with a lot of trade-offs. What we're going to dive into today is a huge step forward in commercial wall graphics, a technology that's just built differently, making things faster, way more durable, and honestly, seamlessly part of the space itself.
You know the feeling, right? If you manage any kind of commercial space, you've probably lived this. You invest in a gorgeous wall graphic, it looks amazing for a little while. But then, you see a corner starting to lift, or the seams start to look kind of grimy. Before you know it, you're already thinking about the cost and the hassle of having to replace the whole thing. It's just this frustrating, expensive cycle.
So, to really get why the new solution is such a big deal, we first need to get real about the old way. We've got to break down the problems with traditional vinyl and wallpaper, all the little headaches that facilities managers know all too well.
Okay, so the core problem with the old methods really comes down to the material itself, the film and the glue. In any busy hallway, what's the first thing to go? It's always those seams and edges. They get snagged by carts, people brush up against them, and they basically become magnets for dirt. And adhesive, it can fail from humidity, temperature changes, even just regular cleaning. Oh, and trying to stick vinyl on a textured surface like brick or a concrete block, good luck. It's pretty much a recipe for failure.
And you know, it's not just the physical stuff. The whole process behind the scenes can be a nightmare. You've got long lead times for printing, the logistical puzzle of trying to line up these huge panels perfectly on site, and heaven forbid a measurement is off by ½ an inch, because that could send the whole project right back to the start. And then there's the waste. All that PVC vinyl, the backing paper, the cores, it all just gets tossed into a landfill. It's just not a very efficient system.
So looking at all those issues, it's pretty obvious that a totally new approach was needed. And that brings us to the solution, a technology that gets rid of the main point of failure, the vinyl and the adhesive, entirely. This is what we're calling the direct-to-wall revolution.
So what is this exactly? Well, here's the big shift. Instead of printing on some material and then sticking it to the wall, this uses a super precise mobile printer that literally applies the ink directly onto the wall. As it prints, that ink is instantly cured with UV light, which means it's dry and incredibly durable the second it's printed. What you're left with is this perfect, seamless, high-res image that feels like it's part of the wall, not just something stuck on top of it.
And this isn't some messy experiment either. It's a really polished, professional workflow. It all starts with experts checking out the site conditions. Then, digital proofs are prepared to make sure the brand colors are absolutely perfect. Once on site, the printer uses sensors to get perfectly level and square to the wall, ensuring a crisp image from edge to edge. And that UV curing I mentioned, it happens in real time, so there are no wet paint smells or long drying times. It's just clean, precise, and unbelievably efficient.
Okay, so we've looked at the problems, we've looked at the solution, now let's put them right next to each other, head to head. This is where the advantages of printing directly on the wall just become so clear.
I mean, the difference is just night and day. Where vinyl has seams that can peel, this is totally seamless. Where vinyl gets snagged and scuffed, this is a tough, scuff-resistant finish. But for me, the real game changers are these last two. You can print directly on drywall, brick, concrete block, you name it. And when you want to change it, you just paint over it. That's it. No scraping, no damaging the wall, no sticky residue left behind. For anyone in facilities management, that is a total game changer.
And here is the kicker. Get this. A typical installation on a single wall, from the moment they set up to the moment they're done, is completed in under 5 hours. Just think about that for a second. That means minimal downtime, minimal disruption to your business. A project that might have taken days and required you to block off an entire area can now be done in a single morning.
So with benefits like that, it's really no surprise that this technology is taking off across a ton of different industries. Let's take a look at just how versatile direct-to-wall printing really is and see where it's making a serious impact.
Honestly, the applications are all over the place. In corporate offices, it's perfect for creating these powerful, branded lobby experiences. In healthcare, you can imagine it for calming artwork or, critically, for color-coded wayfinding on surfaces that have to be super easy to clean. For schools and universities, we're talking bold mascots and donor walls that are built to last. And for retail, it's a dream for rolling out seasonal campaigns basically overnight with almost zero disruption to the store.
And it even goes into more specialized areas. Hotels and restaurants can create these incredible feature moments. Museums can produce photorealistic murals that feel like they're part of the building's architecture without any of the seams that ruin the illusion. And for property managers, think about this. It's a fantastic way to activate a simple white box space for a tour and then just paint right over it when the new tenant moves in. So smart.
Okay, let's zoom out and look at the big picture for a minute. If you're someone who cares about the total cost of ownership, the true cost of something over its entire life, this is where direct-to-wall printing really shines. It's just a smarter way of doing things, from the very beginning to the very end.
The long-term advantages here are huge. Routine cleaning is so much easier because there are no edges to worry about or trap dirt. When it's time for a refresh, you just prep and paint. There are none of those hidden costs for removal or disposal. And for big brands with locations all over the country, the calibrated digital process means you get perfect, consistent brand colors every single time, whether you're in Miami or Seattle.
And of course, we've got to talk about the environmental side of things. This is a much more sustainable approach. By getting rid of all the vinyl, the adhesives, the laminates, you're cutting way down on plastic waste. And since the printing happens right there on site, you're also slashing the transport emissions from shipping all those heavy rolls of material around. It's just a leaner, greener, more responsible way to go.
There's a quote in the source material that I think just hits the nail on the head. It says, "This is more than a production upgrade. It's a rethinking of how environments communicate." And I love that because it's so true. This isn't just about a better way to make a wall graphic. It's about a fundamental shift in how we think about branding our spaces, integrating the message right into the architecture itself.
And really, that's the question I want to leave you with. Take a look around your own space, your office, your store, your school. Are your walls really working for you? Are they communicating your brand and your story in a powerful, durable way? Or are they just holding up the ceiling? It's definitely something to think about.